Hey guys, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you two or three different ways that you could design pillows on Zazzle to get the most amount of sales. Now, before we even begin, for those who haven't seen some of my other Zazzle videos in the Zazzle playlist that I've been working on over the past, let's say, year, one of the big things that I'm a big believer in is optimizing the type of products that you sell to get the most sales. And really what that means is, if I break things down in a complex way, make it super simple, is at the end of the day, I want to sell products in bulk. That's my main goal. And Zazzle creates a platform where that can happen pretty easily. So if I'm going to create a design for a certain occasion, somebody's birthday, it could be a wedding, it could be whatever the case may be, these products ideally would be given to customers or sold to customers or sold to a customer for the purpose of being sold in bulk. A good example of this is, for example, if you have a wedding and you're giving out gifts at that wedding. That is a simple example of a product that can be given in bulk for a certain occasion. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started working on these two different designs to kind of show you. If you have any familiarity with canva.com, I liken this Zazzle editor to Canva. It's actually pretty simple. You just have images on the side, you're uploading them, things like that. As for images, I really don't use a lot of the elements that are built into Zazzle. I'll upload my own, and you could see here I have about, 80, 100 different resources. I'll leave links, or actually, I won't even leave links. Anybody who's in the Zazzle course, the exact elements that you're seeing here, I'll just put them up there for free so you guys can download them there. So the Zazzle tagging course, we'll have like a section in the left-hand section. We'll say something like downloadables or images or, something like that. If you're a member, go ahead, log in, access it. You'll see it. We'll have like a little section where you can download these graphics so you can kind of test yourself and do the same thing. So let's go ahead and talk about like two or three, like I said, different ways that you can design these type of products so you can get as many sales as possible. And I really find the reason why I say two or three is because one of them is pretty similar to the other, but I'll kind of show you now. So the first strategy is what I call the circular strategy, all right? And it's super simple, definitely not difficult. I don't even want to make it sound difficult. If I show you guys this image, you guys see this image? This image here was designed for like a card, okay? And the text would be in the middle. This is one of the most simple strategies, most simple art forms, but it works every single time on Zazzle. There's really never a time where it doesn't. And the whole point is in the middle is where you would fit the text. Now, for pillows, right, because this is not this is a perfect square pretty much. What my goal is I need to have enough space in the middle to add some text that's more than visible. So what I have to do effectively is I have to download these elements separately, whether it be from AI or any kind of other image creation. Like I said, for the people who are in the course, you guys get this stuff for free. What I'll do is I'll take an element like this and I'll kind of drag it to a corner. And if I feel like it's just too big, I'll go ahead and decrease the size, right? Double click, make sure everything is in full frame. I don't want anything cropped or, looking unattractive by any means. So I'll go ahead and make sure it's not cropped, just like this, right? And then what I'll do is I'll just drag it to the corner, kind of like that. And what I want is, like I said, this circular strategy. So you see how this card, let me go ahead and minimize this. You see how it has graphics all around the corners like this? In that case, I like that, and I want plain text in the middle. So I'm just mimicking that style right here. So I could look after some different elements that I might have, put them in different areas and kind of use them to my advantage. I can go over here, click this rotate button, rotate some of the graphics, make some larger, make some smaller, just depending on how I want it to look. And keep in mind that the blue section here, everything within the blue is what's being printed. And the reason why there's this red line here is anything outside of the red line won't be printed. However, this is what we have is referred to as a bleed zone, which could potentially sometimes, depending on how the product is printed, kind of carry over into this empty space. So you wouldn't want something, for example, to look like this, where it could potentially have some empty space between the seam. Depending on how it's printed that day, there could be a little malfunction, whatever, make some room for that. So what I like to do is I like to kind of fill in all the different white spots here and kind of don't have anything missing. So like, for example, something like this, I would make this smaller, just like that. Make sure nothing is cropped once again. And I would take this and drag it as far as I can over here. Even if something is going to be cut off just a little bit, it's fine by me. I just need to review it, make sure that nothing kind of looks too bad on that end or in that front. And so I'll just take, like I said, different elements. So I might add some more color here. So I'll add something like this. I can rotate it once again, just, and make something smaller if I need to, right? So that's one aspect. Then you can see here how it's starting to come out and how it's starting to look in the preview. Don't be afraid to experiment with different colors, different styles. Not everybody is going to like one style, so, you can try different things out. The most important thing as well, and we didn't even make a video on this right now, we have videos in our past history on this where we spoke about the way you tag, the niche that you're targeting, all different things like that are kind of really important when it comes down to the work that you're going to provide. You have to make sure your work shows up. One of those things which I don't want to keep rambling on, and like I said, I've spoken about it before in the playlist, which is why it's very important. If you want to take Zazzle seriously, I highly recommend you watch our playlist. It's completely free. Is we have something called Z-Rank. In the world of Zazzle, unfortunately, and this is what they claim, and it's pretty much factual, I mean, nobody could really dispute it, where you have a dilemma for most people called Z-Rank. And Z-Rank is the number of things that you kind of have to complete in order to have enough of a rank to be seen in the marketplace. Zazzle claims that you're going to need a Z-Rank of 4 or better to be seen in the marketplace. The public marketplace, that is. That's not to say that you can't get some sales through Google or through social media before then, but Z-Rank has a big deal to that. And you have to create collections, you have to, create different products. There's different things associated with Z-Rank, which once again, we've created a whole different video on that, which I don't want to get too off track, but here I want to show you how you can control your layering. So I don't know if you guys just saw this, or picked up on this, which you probably did, but I'll just point it out anyway because you never know. There might be some beginners watching this. Is I have this element right here. I made it smaller. I rotated it. My goal is to have it somewhere around here, but I don't want it to block this blue flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, click, hold, drag, and move it under that layer, which happens to be the blue flower layer, which is down here. If I really wanted to, I could move it all the way to the back, right, which is going to be beyond all the other layers. I can increase the size just like this, and I can work with something like this, right? And once again, I could test how where I'm going to put things. I might not leave them all in the same spot. I might move things around. It's perfectly fine. I'll just keep going back to my elements, right? If I want to add certain things, I could, go back to my files, add some things. I like also to create some symmetry, right? So if I have something that's like popping out here, I might want to do something around here somewhere. That's just something that I've tend to notice. I'm not saying that it will make you extra sales or any kind of ridiculous claim like that. It's just, something that I like to try to do with the way that I'm creating. So I might have this pop out here, right? Just like this. Grab this kind of like that. And once again, I would move this from a layering aspect. I would go over here to my layers, take this, click, drag, and drop, move it all the way to the back, right? And then I would just fill out the empty gaps. So some small stuff, some small graphics. Once again, I'll go to my files, and I'll find some like small things. So like something like this, I'll take it, I'll rotate it, make it really small, right? Nothing too crazy, and just paste it kind of like right here. Then I'll do the same thing here. Now remember, I don't want any gaps, so I might have to fill up like a little area later. Perfectly fine, just part of the game. but you know, it's something that I prefer to do. So essentially, this is what I call the circular style. And the way I would do this is I would have at least one element within the text, right, where it's clearly visible. It could be a date, it could be a name, whatever the case may be. I want it to be very, very visible. Now, when you look at it like this, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of canvas space, which is this white circular or this white space here. If we click on now the actual pillow, we have a ton of space. So we have the space to be able to make certain numbers or certain text a lot larger, which are going to be editable elements. I want my elements to be editable so that somebody can go in, personalize the design, add their own name or the name that matters for that specific occasion, the date that matters, whatever the case may be, and then they can use it, right? So for example, if I was, let's talk about, like, let's say a birth of a baby, right? So I might add a number like this, right? And I'll make it very large. So I'll take it like this, right? Make this, I don't like to have the box too large here, but then I'll increase the actual size, something like that. Now, you got to think from a canvas perspective, there's a lot going on here. But from a consumer perspective, right, they're looking first, before they even see a lot of the actual details and the boxes and everything, before they can do all this and edit all this, they're going to see this. They're not going to see the boxes and the layers and all that. Some people, what they do to get rid of all these layers and stuff is they'll work in Canva and make this one image, right? So as opposed to all of this, all these layers and keeping it confusing, right? They'll take this image the way it is, they'll craft it into an image, and then they'll add it as one single layer that happens to be transparent. Kind of like what you guys just saw here in the, let me show you here. In my files, I have the thing that looks like a card, like I said. They'll add something like this. The only difference is it will be transparent. You get what I'm saying? And they'll do that too, which works as well. It's not, too big of a deal. So that's the first strategy. The first strategy is this circular strategy that works. Now, I said 2 or 3 strategies. I'll share you the other strategy that's pretty similar to this, is the way to reduce, once again, a lot of that layering to help reduce confusion, especially for the customer, is what you can do is you can delete one corner side of things. So what some people like to do, and this is what, like I said, it works well with pillows. You could try this on other products as well, depending on how it's shaped, is you can fill up one corner of graphics a lot. You can fill up another, which are opposites, obviously, but then this corner and this corner have nothing on them. And that's kind of that's what some people do. Once again, I've done both styles. They both work great. It's just a matter of having an emphasis on the written text and let it be seen. And you can add various parts of different text. You can add the name, etc. Obviously, I wouldn't write name, but you guys get my point. But write the written text where it has enough space to actually be visible. So in this case, I would probably move this a little bit downward, have, maybe move this stuff, scale it back just like a millimeter here. And it doesn't have to look amazing. Like I said, not every single piece of art that I create is a knockout of the park, amazing piece of art. Sometimes it just fulfills a very particular need and it gets the sale. I've said this before, maybe about 100 times on this YouTube channel. You don't have to have the best art in the world. You definitely can't have the worst, but it has to be buyable, a buyable design. Somebody has to look at it and say, you know what? This is good enough, decent enough to be purchased. Is it going to knock my socks off? It doesn't have to, but it just has to be decent enough. So that's kind of the second strategy, which is kind of like a half strategy. It's not really like a real strategy in my opinion. It's very similar to the first one. There's another strategy, which I'll go ahead and delete all of this to kind of show you a different way to design these pillows here, is the half strategy. And what I mean by the half strategy is half of the canvas, so like let's say from here on, okay, is going to be filled with art, and even the back. But the other half, which is right here, right? So essentially this whole section, okay, like this section above and to the side is going to be plainly empty. So let me kind of tutorial how that would look. So for example, if I take this, right, and I keep my eyes on this section here while I'm doing this. I'll design here, maybe add some more work. Obviously, they don't have to be this large. I could be a little bit more particular, but for the sake of time, I'm just trying to kind of make it work here. I'll take this, maybe rotate it, kind of move this right here, or even move it right here rather. Let's go ahead and rotate this kind of like that. Move this one upwards, move this here, right? Take these, maybe make this a little bit smaller, put this here, maybe even duplicate it, right? So kind of like that. Maybe even get some yellow color. Actually, I don't like this one. Let me take this here, move this here, right? Move that there. And then fill up some of this space here. This is about when when it comes down to the pillow, there's more than enough space for written text to be present, right? So I have my image here, or the image content here, stretching out all the way to the edge. And yes, I would fill up this white space right here, right? And this plain area, so this, this plain canvas area is where the text will be that the customer will edit, okay? Which actually is a very simple strategy, one of the best, really, because just creates less confusion when the customer's in there, especially if you have different elements on here. Sometimes they might not be 100% comfortable clicking around, things like that might be their first time. So that's that. And then what you want to do is you want to work on the back. So the back side should have everything, right? So only the only area with the text is the right-hand side of that pillow with the text. You can add stuff there. That is another strategy. Now, once again, I've already said this, but I'll say it again. Backgrounds, different elements, different icons, I'll never use these. I'm always using my own stuff. I really don't pay attention to any of the stuff here that Zazzle has, in my opinion. I'm sure some of you guys have used this stuff and you guys love it. For me, it's just not my style, but it just depends on you, how you want to set it up. But this is, like I said, the back, so I'll take this, add this here, add some random stuff. It doesn't have to be all perfect. Once again, it just has to look decent enough, and you could put something quick together. If you guys have seen some of my older videos on Zazzle where I talked about Zazzle, I said sometimes in the beginning I would spend 20 minutes on a design. And that's not the case for some other sites like Redbubble, for example, or even TeePublic. For Redbubble or TeePublic, it might take me a couple minutes to create 20 designs, 10 designs even. But for Zazzle, sometimes it does take a little bit longer because, once again, customers are going to be a little bit more particular. You're not just buying one product for, a desire purpose. It's for a actual purpose. The purpose is going to be to serve the need for that specific occasion, especially if you're doing Zazzle the way most people do it, which is catering to people's needs for the bulk purchase. And the bulk purchase is a bulk purchase simply because that's what Zazzle is mostly used for. People will buy things for occasions, buy things like whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Now, can you sell one-off products on Zazzle? Absolutely. That niche definitely exists, and you can sell to them for that. It's just, I find many different profitable ways to do that better. But as you guys see here, as I'm designing, it's not too difficult. It doesn't take a genius to do it. I'm certainly not a genius. Working on this basic stuff, doesn't make it too difficult. So, pretty basic, pretty simple, but these are two different ways that you can make that happen. Now, once again, you have certain gaps here. I would definitely fill them up. It's just a matter of having different elements. So once again, if you guys want these elements, I'll literally just leave them inside the Zazzle course. Anybody who's a member in the Zazzle course, I will leave them in there. You could just log in, go to the left-hand menu side. You'll see it there. Go ahead and access it. Speaking of access, I want to go ahead and access this bottom flower here in terms of the layers. So I'll take this color, right, move it somewhere down, right, and this would be more like of a filler art. I don't want to have white spaces like this too much on the back because that's what I'm kind of trying to fill. So I'll take, like, for example, some random colors, like we got something like this, and we got something like this, and we'll take this and this and this, and we'll just kind of spread them apart here. So I'll take this one. And by the way, if it ever gets too busy and you can't click around, like it's a little too difficult, just go over here to your layer section, click on these and just move them around that way. Okay, so essentially I'll have something like this. It's already clicked, and you could see, you know, if I need something, I could just click here. Everything will be all good. And you know, that's pretty much it for this style. If you guys have any questions, these are, like I said, the 2 or 3, depending on how you would count them, the 2 styles for Zazzle pillows that pretty much work all the time. Once again, you need to have your text on the right hand side. Very well, it doesn't have to be. I mean, you could put it on the left as well and keep, you know, all your art on the right. It's not going to make or break the sale. The point is that you need to have this clear area for text to be easily editable and easily readable. To us, people who've designed for print on demand, it might be a little easier to navigate these kind of softwares, but you got to keep in mind the most complicated software some of these people have used in the past could be like Microsoft Word or Google Slides or something like that. So try to keep it real simple. Don't keep it too difficult. If you really, really feel like it's too much, sometimes you can take all the different images, put them on Canva, create the images on Canva, and then just upload them into Zazzle. That is a very common strategy that what people will do, and keep it as just simply one layer. So instead of somebody coming in and hitting edit and then seeing all of this, which is just simply way too much for some people, you can do that as well. But there's many different, you know, things that you can do to create some good art. These are just, like I said, 2 different styles for flowers. If you guys want to see me design other products on Zazzle, let me know. I'll go ahead and do them. Pretty simple, pretty easy stuff. And I know every single person watching this can easily do it. So I'll leave some links in the description box down below. We have a free and paid members area. You guys can check it out. We have some free lessons. I'll go ahead and leave links in the description to that, some other resources. And of course, if you guys, like I said, are members of the course, you want to access these graphics, I'll leave them inside the course link in the description box as well. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Bye.